YouTubers, family and friends, got a great one for you. The reveal of the secrets. Now, all of you have seen on the news big time where Trump is doing unbelievable things, and is this a part of a massive psyop on the American people to reveal all these massive secrets from the JFK assassination, his brother Bobby Kennedy assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, 9/11, the COVID conspiracy, and all these massive secretive conspiracies that many of them have turned out to be so very true. All the official government documents and internal investigations are now taking place in the Trump administration. He's going full bore, balls to the wall on this stuff, putting out the truth to the American people. And it is a massive circus media show, guys. This is about the biggest thing that has happened in decades in the U.S. And a lot of Americans know that there's been corruption and all this stuff that's being revealed by Trump and Elon and his team of investigators, and basically bringing the light of day into the darkness of the government for decades now. I was born in 1963, and in my opinion, that's when the coup of the deep state took control of the United States, when they assassinated President Kennedy. Now, there's a commission of declassification of all government documents coming out to investigate all these massive conspiracies, and the first one is going to start in March, and this commission is headed by Anna Paulina Luna. And I did some digging on her, and she's a Messianic Jew, and her paternal grandfather was a Nazi in World War II. Paternal means on his father's side. Her father has German blood, but her paternal or her maternal on her mother's side, both grandfathers were, on the mother's side, was in the U.S. Army in World War II. So this Anna Paulina Luna is a Jew. And as you know, Trump is a converted Jew. And Trump's daughter married a big, huge billionaire Jew. And Vance, J.D. Vance, the vice president, is a Jew. So there is lots of Jewish stuff happening within the U.S. government right now. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know. On the surface and to the face of the wild media show, it's a good thing of what's going on. But really what's happening, this thing right here could be so big and massive if the truth comes out about how the government involvement was in all these major conspiracies. It could rip the country apart. I mean, literal, civil war. So we're waiting to see what happens here starting in March. And the first up of all these conspiracies, because of Kennedy being now the confirmed health minister in the Trump cabinet, which is a great news too, but Kennedy is involved with all this first investigation, which is in the assassination of JFK, and that occurred in November 22nd of 1963. I was born in August of 1963, so this all took place when I was an infant. And this is my take of all the research I've done, and all this stuff is going to come out in the investigation in March, guys. So stay tuned for that, because Anna is she's loaded with both barrels, and she's going to pound everybody. She's already told the world that there was definitely at least 2 shooters involved. So that blows out the whole Warren Commission, which is the government investigative body that Lyndon B. Johnson convened to try to get to the bottom of the assassination of JFK, which was a farce. The whole thing was a puppet show. It was all fake because Johnson was a big part of the assassination. And as you'll see here, President JFK, he was a Democrat. If any of you don't know, Democrats was huge back then. Most of the country voted Democrat back in the 60s, 50s and 60s. He was assassinated November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Okay? And here's the premise. The deep state committed a coup de grace, which is a takeover of the U.S. government by multiple deep state agencies. The Fed, which is the Federal Reserve, the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and American Mafia, headed by government officials, which is the Texas Governor Conley, he was a Democrat, and Texas Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson. So he was a Democrat from Texas, right? He was the vice president, and he was the Democratic majority leader for like 12 years plus in the U.S. Senate before he became the vice president in the 1960 election when JFK was elected, 1960. So 3 years later, he was assassinated, guys. And, my train of thought. There's so much information here, it's unbelievable, guys, of what happened. But during that time, there was a lot of things that happened, and, one was that Kennedy was, fooling around with Norma Ray, which was a, hot blonde in Hollywood, and there was a huge Hollywood connection with the father of JFK, and he was deeply invested in Hollywood, and there's so many other things with the Kennedy family. The father of the Kennedys was a huge millionaire and billionaire in today's dollars, and he got rich by getting involved with the bootlegging into Prohibition times and shorting the stock market in 1929. He became extremely wealthy, and a lot of people thought he was a dirty dog by doing all these things, and there was very little respect in the mainstream big money community because of the way he got his money. So there was a big, huge hatred of the Kennedys from many other groups, many other enemies that had lots of money in the U.S. So this is how this all started. So then let's go down the line here. And another thing that blows my mind is the assassination took place in Texas, and the people involved were Texans. So there's a lot of dirty dog stuff going on in Texas from that long ago. So some of the reasons why they wanted JFK dead. JFK wanted to end the Fed, the Federal Reserve, which is a private, a lot of people don't know, it's a private financial company that owns basically all the money printing rights in the United States, and it's a private company. It's not has anything to do with the government. So, and it's never been audited because it's a private company. They don't have to report nothing. So basically, it's a big criminal organization, guys. And this is who's been controlling our country since 1913. And so Kennedy wanted to end the Fed. So it's really tricky, right? So he tried to reinstate the silver certificate dollars. And if you go on Wikipedia or some of these other websites, it's all lies, guy. Don't believe what the lies are. This is the truth right here. He tried to reinstitute the silver certificates because in 1960, Kennedy was was tricked into stopping the silver certificates and silver coinage, right? So he wanted to reinstate that a couple years later once he knew what was going on and what he was being tricked into doing with silver in the United States. So once he figured that out with his district attorney of the DOJ, Department of Justice, which was his brother, Bobby, right? They figured out what was really going on behind the scenes in the deep state trying to take over, especially through the Federal Reserve, trying to take over all the money system and trying to get rid of silver and gold as part of the money system in the United States. And the only legal tender, according to the U.S. Constitution of the United States, is gold and silver. So all you got to do is read it. And these reserve notes from the Federal Reserve were coming out trying to replace all of that. And Kennedy figured it out, and he was trying to change it back to the silver certificates and gold certificates, right? So it's backed by and can be able to convert it to, walk in any bank, and you could make a silver certificate, which was just a regular U.S. greenback dollar, but on the bottom of it says redeemable into silver coinage. So at any time you can go into a bank and switch the paper back into coin of either gold or silver. And that's the way it was for decades in the U.S., guys. Anyways, so Kennedy in June 4th of 1963, 5 months before he was assassinated, he wrote Executive Order 11110. And you guys, if you want to read it, you can go into it. But like I say, many websites are full of pack of lies and misinformation on that. So you guys got to read between the lines what was going on. This order, executive order, authorized the Treasury Secretary to start printing silver certificate dollars again through the Treasury and not through the Federal Reserve. So basically, it was a U.S. sitting president trying to phase out the Federal Reserve notes and bringing it back to the Treasury with silver dollar certificates. So this is what was going on behind the scenes, guys. 5 months later, he was assassinated. So the Fed was a big part of that. And if you guys know your history, all these private central banks in the U.S., the first and the second one, when in President Andrew Jackson days in the 1800s, they sent assassins to kill Andrew Jackson a couple times, but Andrew Jackson, they called him Old Hickory. He was a tough as nails guy. He carried his own gun on him all the time. And these assassins would come at him, and he would kill them before the assassins would kill the president. And this is the kind of stuff that was going on with these private central banks that were trying to, take a hold of the money printing system in the U.S. and take control of the whole country, because that's what it does. And finally, right, their third attempt to do it, which is all this money from Europe, these central bankers that started in Europe. And the only thing is, guys, that these central bankers are Jewish. Now, I don't know if now that Trump and all his people are Jewish, if they're just trying to purposely crater the system by going, balls to the walls, revealing all these secrets. It might be a massive psyop to destroy the country and then to bring in what these Jewish central bankers want as the next money system. It very well could be, guys. So you got to read between the lines on all this stuff. So anyways, the next reason why JFK, they wanted him dead. When I say they, I mean the deep state, right? All these unelected, powerful officials behind the scenes. So the second one, the Kennedys double-crossed the American mafia from prohibition bootlegging and Cuban drugs, the drug trade between Cuba. And like the bottom one here, through the mafia, Frank Costello, he has connections to the Kennedys and Hoover. And who's Hoover? FBI J. Edgar Hoover. He was in the agency for 48 years, guys. And after he died in 1972, hundreds and hundreds of criminal and illegal activities were found that he was going against the law in dozens and dozens of PSYOP cases and secret operations, and he had his own little empire there in the FBI for 48 years. Well, it was 11 years in the BOI, and then it changed to the FBI for another 37 years. So it's a crazy, insane deal where one man, J. Edgar Hoover, had a massive power in the United States for so many years, and the corruption was unbelievable, guys. And he was one in power in the FBI when this whole coup d'etat took place. So both the CIA and the FBI were involved with it, and the American Mafia. And we all know that the American Mafia went into legitimate, so-called legitimate business from their regular racketeering and stuff into corporations. And that's why a majority of corporations today are so corrupt and evil, guys, because it comes straight out of the American Mafia. And that's how they went so-called legit. And so that's kind of puts probably a exclamation point on what went on with the JFK assassination, guys. That's just some of the thousands of information documentation through the government and other writings. I mean, there's been movies made, there's been so many books out on this, and the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? And we're going to find out, and I hope this proceeding in March of 2025 is going to tell the American people the truth. And if all those agencies aren't involved with it, I'll be a monkey's uncle, because I know in my heart and in my soul that all these people, these agencies and these organizations were involved with the assassination of Kennedy. And the biggest one, guys, is the Fed. And if Trump's trying to destroy the Fed and bring in a new system, and I hope it's gold, because right now what's going on is gold is running out. Korea was just announced are running out of gold completely. People can't buy it anymore. The central banks are hand over fist buying gold as fast as they possibly can. The gold's running out so much, and the price of gold's going up so fast now that it's all these paper contracts, people are holding them for delivery, and they don't have the gold to fill these contracts, because the whole system is going to be probably going into a blockchain technology backed by 100% transfer into gold, or conversion into gold or silver or oil or other commodities or land or whatever, right? Backed by all those tangible assets, guys. So that's probably what the future holds, but we're going to see, right? It's happening so quick right now, guys. Just stay tuned, and then this is going to be a part 1 of Reveal the Secrets, and I'm going to do part 2, and there's about 5 or 6 parts here, because we got the assassination of Bobby Kennedy next, right? And then we have the assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan, and then we have 9/11. Was it an inside job? I believe it was, wholeheartedly. But we're going to look at the facts and look at everything we can, and then see what this truth declassification task force by Trump, headed by Anna Paulina Luna, comes up with. So it's an exciting time to be an American. And I just pray, you know what, if they get rid, and it just was announced today that Elon Musk wants all property taxes in the U.S. stopped You know what? If they stop the illegal automatic withholding for income tax and just apply the income tax to what it was written into law to do, which is only for government employees, government contractors, and residents of U.S. Territories, that's all the income tax is applied to. And the only people liable by it are those groups. So if that goes into effect, where all the rest of the 50 state residents of the 50 states and private workers that don't work for government no longer have to pay the income tax, and they deem this illegal automatic withholding from your paychecks null and void. If that happens and they stop the property taxes in the U.S., I really seriously might think about going back to the U.S. and investing in some land there again. Honest to God. But the way it is right now, there's no way. That's why I'm here. And actually, they would have to get rid of the divorce laws in the U.S. too, because you can lose everything through the divorce laws. So they would have to eliminate the divorce law also if they went to the way it is in the Philippines, and that's why I'm here. If they got rid of the divorce laws in the U.S., I might seriously consider about going back. But until those three things happen, I'm staying in the Philippines. So this is getting to be a long one, so sorry guys, but I love you very much, and take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.